Hey everybody, it's the Review Revolution, back at you again. And today, we're taking a look at the next in the Toy Biz Marvel Legends Onslaught series. And today we're taking a look at the stepson of Odin, brother to Thor, god of lies, Loki. Not the kind of Loki that I think a lot of people might be familiar with. I think a lot of people probably recognize Loki in his bright yellow, bright green, the big horns. He's got those, but the bright yellow, bright green, skinny, big smile, almost Joker-esque style of Loki. Instead, and I'm not exactly sure where in the Thor story this really comes up, or where he makes his appearance here, but instead here we've got a much more hardcore Loki. And we'll take a look at him more when we get him out of the pack, but I love the fact that we're not getting kind of a cartoony, Joker-esque kind of Loki. We're getting somebody who's going to be a real proper villain for Thor. Oh, I can't wait for this movie. Of course, Toy Biz, so it's the right arm, apparently, of Onslaught. So we did the leg, and now we've got the arm, kind of skipping around here. Collect all 6 Onslaught series figures and build your own Onslaught. He is superposable, of course, and he has 34 points of articulation. Includes a diorama. You can see there's a little clip, so he has a diorama. 32-page comic book. And, you know, I'm going to make a prediction that his diorama, Green Goblin's was going to be the skyline. I make my prediction that his diorama is probably going to be maybe a hall, like a Asgardian Great Hall, or some temple of some kind. I get the feeling. I haven't seen one open. I don't know what the diorama looks like. That's my prediction. So we'll pop them open and see what we come up with. For the Onslaught series, or the Villains Wave, as it's also known, we do get the Green Goblin, who was very cool. And of course, he's got his variant. Loki, who's got his variant. Pyro, who's going to be really, really cool to display with a blob. I'm looking forward to that. Abomination, his variant. Lady Deathstrike, and Blackheart. So a real good assortment of villains across the board for Wave 13. Very cool. And of course, once done, we have the Onslaught, who, big character in Marvel. I just don't remember this version of him. I'll have to do more research as we go, but I don't really remember that version of him. There is the stats on Loki. Of course, pause as needed. His write-up says, adopted by Odin, Loki could have been a beloved god. However, his jealousy for his foster brother Thor and desire for Odin's throne led him from his honored place. Now this rogue prince will stop at nothing to destroy Thor and all he holds dear to gain control of awesome Asgard. So that's actually very cool. For now, though, we're going to take a moment. We'll pop Loki out of the pack and get a closer look. So, be right back. Alright, everybody. We've got the evil god of lies out of his pack. And, wow. Another winner. Another complete winner. Probably another 9 or 10, depending on one thing. Before we get to that, though, my prediction turned out not to be right. It's not it wasn't a temple or a great hall or anything. Instead, it's Loki's throne with his followers. And seeing this, this just makes me wish that the chair had been the accessory. I mean, it probably wouldn't have been way too expensive to actually have done, but seeing that chair, I really wish they had packed that in with him and just had a diorama of his legions of misguided followers. The chair would have been a sweet accessory. Oh well. But the figure, I gotta say, I really, really like this Loki. I mean, despite the fact that, again, it's not the kind of bright, vibrant green and yellow with the big smile that we see probably in a lot of the comics, this is still a really great figure, a really appropriate figure, I have to say. I guess now, a lot like the Green Goblin, you can see that the colors, they're not going to be vibrant. And that's not the way they're going with this wave. They're very dark. I mean, instead of having the bright yellow, he's got kind of a mustard color, kind of a forest green almost, a little bit lighter. And of course the brown fur cape. But it goes together still very well. It's still, very quintessential Loki colors. I love it. I think this looks outstanding. He is beautiful, 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 beautiful. The one thing that I think is going to be the most off-putting to people, and this is where it draws a line between 9 and 10, is on the face. As I mentioned, this is certainly a more hardcore Loki. I mean, it's got almost an older face, almost almost like a grandpa face. Got the scars and the scowl. It may not be the Loki that people remember, know, or want, but as a fan, I think this is a really cool one to get. I think this one looks outstanding, and I love the horns. I mean, the horns are a good 2 inches, making his height just huge. I mean, he is a huge figure when you count the horns. Looks great. And as I was saying, the colors, the mustard with the green, I mean, it's very nicely put in. They definitely bulked him up by putting layers on top of him. This same technique that they're using for Loki here is the same kind of thing that the Four Horsemen are doing with the DC Universe. Is they're definitely using layers to the advantage on the figure, and really, really came out with a great, great Loki figure. Fantastic. Love the sculpt on the boots. Looks great. The articulation is a little tight and a little limited. In the case of his head, obviously with this piece in the back, there's not going to really be much up and down. It is on a pin, I think. But really you just get a bit of a twist or a bit of a hinge on the head. The arms do come out, and they come out again. But with the shoulder pads, you're not going to get a whole lot of range out of it. The shoulder pads, which the plastic on the shoulders, on this top part, as well as the cape, very thick plastic, very, very thick. So there's not much give. So you're not going to get much arm articulation to the side. It does come out. It twists at the shoulder, double joint at the elbow. The hands. Right here you can see his arm guard here. Right there, right here is where the twist is at the hand, and then there's a hinge at the wrist. So nice hiding articulation. Again, I always like when that happens. And then the hinge at the hand, it feels a little weak, so I'm not going to really do it too much. Oh, that was nice. That's a nice click. I like that. So I'm not going to do a whole lot with that one. I'm not going to push it too hard. I have a feeling that could break rather easily. He has a crunch, and I don't know if it's just because it's a tight joint or if there's something keeping it from moving, but he doesn't have really much of a crunch. He's got a twist, which is fine. And the leg articulation does come out again. His sash is much softer, so it doesn't hinder as much. He has a twist of the leg. Double joint at the knee, twist of the boot, ankle. Now, there is also a pivot on the ankle, but it's really tight. And the toe, obviously there's a hinge at the toe, but again, very, very tight. Now, those aren't critical pieces of articulation as far as getting him to stand or getting him in a good action pose, a good dynamic pose. So I don't know if I'm going to worry too much about loosening those up. But they're there, and they're very, very tight. Ah, it looks great. Love that helmet. Love the helmet, love the horns. Now the comic has a real great cover. Definitely frame-worthy cover if you could ever just get the art on it. And the only problem is it doesn't really live up to the comic. The cover makes a promise that the issue doesn't exactly deliver. Not something Batgirl comics do. just to let anyone know who's going to go down and get their comics at the store. He comes with the arm of Onslaught, which I can't wait to get this guy put together. This just looks so cool. Oh yeah, I'll talk about it a lot more once we actually do him. And then lastly, he does come with his sword, which I would rather have had the Triton from the comic, but not bad. It's actually a very soft plastic, but it was packaged very well, so there's really not much in the way of any kind of warp or anything like that. But for now, for now, let's try this hand. There we go. For now, this has been the Review Revolution. Thank you for watching. Rate, comment, subscribe, join the revolution, and we'll see you soon. Bye-bye.